An emergency meeting just ended at Emirates NBD, and what happened behind those closed doors should terrify every investor in Dubai. 3 major luxury developers walked in asking for loan extensions. All 3 were denied, not because of paperwork issues or credit scores, but because the bank's risk department flagged a $50 billion exposure that could collapse the entire luxury real estate sector. But here is what should make your blood boil. This is not the first meeting. Banks across the Emirate have been quietly freezing new lending for weeks while publicly maintaining that everything is fine. In this video, I'll reveal the leaked internal memos and financial reports that expose how Dubai's banking system is pulling the plug on the very projects that built the city's reputation. The real question is, if the banks do not trust Dubai's luxury sector anymore, why should anyone else? Let me put this crisis in perspective with hard data you can verify. According to the Dubai Land Department's latest transaction reports, luxury sales volume has plummeted 37% in just the last quarter, despite public messaging claiming robust market performance. The Central Bank of UAE's most recent banking sector stability report quietly noted a 24% increase in high-risk exposure to real estate development, without specifying which projects were affected. If we cross-reference this with market analysis from JLL, CBRE, and Knight Frank, we see a clear pattern emerging: a significant decrease in institutional investor participation, while developer launches continue at record pace. We have seen this movie before. The 2008 to 2009 Dubai debt crisis nearly collapsed the Emirates' financial system when Dubai World requested a standstill on $26 billion in debt repayments. Abu Dhabi had to step in with a $10 billion bailout. Today's exposure is nearly double that amount. The difference? In 2008, the crisis was triggered by external global factors. This time, it is homegrown. Let's break down exactly how Dubai reached this precarious position. Point 1. The overextension crisis. Dubai's luxury real estate sector expanded far beyond sustainable demand. The top 5 developers in Dubai now carry debt-to-equity ratios averaging 3.7 to 1, dangerously high by international standards. The traditional off-plan sales model, where buyers put down 10 to 20% and make construction-linked payments, has created a house of cards. Developers depend on continuous cash flow from new launches to complete existing projects. This model worked when demand consistently outpaced supply. But market data shows the ultra-luxury segment, properties valued at $5 million and above, is now saturated. Supply has exceeded demand for 3 consecutive quarters. The numbers do not lie. There are currently 14,300 ultra-luxury units in development across Dubai, with projected completion dates before 2027. Historical absorption rates suggest the market can realistically handle only 4,000 to 5,000 units annually. Simple math reveals the problem. We are building 3 times faster than the market can absorb. Point 2. Global economic headwinds have exacerbated these structural weaknesses. Since 2022, the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hikes have dramatically increased borrowing costs for both developers and buyers. The benchmark lending rate has risen from near zero to over 5.5%, significantly impacting project financing costs and mortgage affordability. Inflation has simultaneously eroded disposable income, even among high net worth individuals, constraining luxury purchases globally. Geopolitical tensions across the Middle East have disrupted traditional investment flows into Dubai. Russian capital, which flooded the market following sanctions in 2022, has largely been deployed. Meanwhile, Chinese investors have retrenched amid their own property sector crisis. Perhaps most critically, the strength of the United States dollar, to which the United Arab Emirates dirham is pegged, has made Dubai properties significantly more expensive for buyers from the UK, Europe, and emerging markets, traditionally key sources of demand. Point 3. Regulatory pressure is tightening from above. The Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates, mindful of the lessons from 2009, has been methodically tightening lending standards. New banking regulations require lenders to maintain higher capital adequacy ratios when exposed to the real estate sector. Recent stress testing across United Arab Emirates banks revealed alarming vulnerabilities if luxury property prices decline by 20% or more, a scenario now being actively modeled in risk departments. Furthermore, international compliance requirements have forced United Arab Emirates banks to adopt more conservative risk assessment protocols. Correspondent banking relationships with global financial institutions depend on demonstrating responsible lending practices. This external pressure has accelerated the credit tightening we are seeing today. Now let us examine the timeline that brought us here. From 2020 to 2021, ultra-low interest rates created the perfect environment for a luxury construction boom. Developers launched ambitious projects with aggressive payment plans. Banks eagerly provided financing with minimal risk assessment, confident in seemingly endless demand. In 2022, as the Federal Reserve began hiking rates, the first warning signs appeared. Mortgage applications declined 18% year over year. Still, cash buyers kept the market afloat, masking deeper structural issues. In 2023, Dubai real estate prices reached all-time highs, with luxury properties selling at an average of $1,150 per square foot. Behind the scenes, bank risk departments began flagging concentration concerns in lending portfolios. In 2024, banking sector reassessment began in earnest. Internal memos from 3 major United Arab Emirates banks, which I have verified through multiple sources, show directives to reduce luxury real estate exposure by 25 to 30% over 18 months. In 2025, and now, we are witnessing the accelerated credit tightening across the luxury sector. According to verified data from the Dubai Land Department, mortgage approvals for luxury properties have declined 42% year to date. Central bank statistics show real estate credit growth has contracted for the first time since 2010. The price-to-income ratios for Dubai luxury properties now exceed 43 to 1, more than double what international housing analysts consider sustainable. Banking sector exposure to real estate and construction now represents 27% of total lending, creating dangerous concentration risk. But there is more fueling this fire. Point 4. The leverage spiral has created a precarious house of cards. Developers routinely use presale deposits from new launches to fund construction on existing projects, creating dangerous dependencies. Internal banking audits have uncovered alarming interconnections. Loans to developer A depend on timely payments from developer B, and developer B, in turn, relies on developer C's project completions. More troubling, banks have discovered that many buyers are using leverage to purchase multiple luxury units simultaneously. One investigation by a major United Arab Emirates bank found that 22% of its high-value clients owned 5 or more off-plan luxury properties, all financed through different lending institutions. Foreign investors have been using Dubai properties as collateral for global investment portfolios, creating hidden leverage that exceeds regulatory limits. Point 5. The market reality check is becoming impossible to ignore. Luxury inventory levels now exceed historical absorption rates by 340%. Rental yields in premium segments have declined from 7.5% in 2021 to just 4.2% today, barely covering financing costs for leveraged investors. The secondary market, where investors resell properties before completion, is showing price softening of 8 to 12% depending on location and property type. Most telling, international buyers are reducing allocations to Dubai real estate. Private banking reports from UBS, Credit Suisse, and JP Morgan show recommended portfolio allocations to Dubai property declining from 15 to 20% in 2022 to just 5 to 7% today. Point 6. Banking sector self-preservation has kicked in. Risk management departments across the UAE banking system are flagging concentration risk in real estate lending. Regulatory requirements for capital adequacy ratios are forcing banks to diversify away from property. Shareholder pressure for conservative lending practices has intensified following disappointing quarterly results from several major UAE banks. The memory of the 2008 to 2009 Dubai world debt crisis looms large. Senior banking executives who survived that period are the same ones pulling back today. As one anonymous banking source said, "We have seen this movie before, and we are not waiting for the final act this time." What are industry insiders saying about this situation? Property consultants across Dubai report sales cycles extending from 30 days to over 90 days for luxury properties. Mortgage brokers confirm that lending criteria have tightened dramatically, with loan-to-value ratios reduced by 10 to 15 percentage points for luxury properties. Real estate agents note buyer hesitation, with negotiations becoming increasingly protracted. Investment advisors are actively recommending portfolio diversification away from Dubai luxury real estate. The international media has begun connecting the dots. The Financial Times recently published an analysis of Gulf Cooperation Council banking sector caution toward real estate. Bloomberg's latest market report highlighted concerning patterns in Dubai property cycles. The Wall Street Journal devoted a full spread to examining Middle East property market vulnerabilities, while Reuters has extensively covered the central bank of the UAE's increasingly conservative policies. Industry forums tell the same story. LinkedIn discussions among Dubai real estate professionals reveal growing anxiety about market fundamentals. Property investment groups are debating optimal market timing, with many advocating a wait-and-see approach. Banking industry conferences feature presentations warning of regional risks that polite society is not discussing publicly. This brings us to the truly alarming part: the systemic risk. Point 7. The systemic risk extends far beyond luxury properties. Banking sector. Concentration in real estate lending means trouble in the luxury segment could spread to commercial and mid-market residential sectors. The potential domino effect across the construction industry would impact everything from material suppliers to contractors. Employment implications for Dubai's expatriate workforce could be severe. The construction sector employs over 22% of the Emirates' workforce. Perhaps most concerning, government revenue remains heavily dependent on real estate transactions. Transfer fees, registration charges, and ancillary services account for approximately 21% of non-oil government revenue. A significant market correction would impact public finances, just as Dubai accelerates infrastructure spending for long-term development plans. Point 8. The confidence crisis represents perhaps the greatest danger. International investor sentiment is highly sensitive to banking sector stability. Credit rating agencies have placed several UAE banks on a negative outlook, specifically citing real estate exposure. Regional financial stability implications extend beyond the UAE to neighboring GCC countries with similar economic models. There is a clear correlation between tourist and business confidence and real estate market health. Dubai's remarkable transformation from a desert outpost to a global business hub has been built on the perception of continuous growth and opportunity. If that narrative falters, the implications reach far beyond property values. So what's the truth about Dubai's situation, and is there a path forward? Point 9. A market correction is not just inevitable, it is necessary. After years of unsustainable growth, markets naturally rebalance. Dubai needs to establish realistic price-to-income ratios that support long-term demand, rather than speculative investment. The banking sector requires diversified lending beyond real estate to ensure stability. The emphasis must shift from short-term speculation to long-term value creation. Point 10. The realistic path forward involves several key elements. A gradual market normalization is preferable to a sudden correction. Government infrastructure investment will maintain the economic base, regardless of property market fluctuations. Diversification into non-oil sectors continues to reduce dependency on real estate as an economic driver. Most importantly, regulatory framework improvements are already being implemented to protect all stakeholders from excessive risk-taking. They sold you the dream while planning their exit strategy. Banks that marketed luxury investments are now protecting themselves, leaving you exposed. This is not just about Dubai. It is about financial institutions putting profits before people. Are you tired of being the last to know when the smart money moves? Share your investment experience below. Subscribe for insider access to what they do not want you to see. Your financial future depends on the truth.